Basically, what are the treatment modality of diabetic retinopathy? Include anti-VEGF drugs, intraocular steroids, and lasers. The different type of lasers we used are the focal laser, reed laser, PRP, Pascal laser, threshold, and navigated lasers. Laser photocoagulation has been the mainstay of diabetic retinopathy since its development in mid 20th century. With the advent of intraocular steroids and anti-VEGF therapy, role of laser therapy is reduced in current scenario. PRP reduce retinal ischemia and hypoxia to anoxia and thus decrease expression of VEGF. It is recommended in PDR and there are benefits of early PRP. Other factors are poor compliance, impending cataract, or poor status of the fellow eye, which determine the timing of PRP. The various indications are NVD with pre-retinal hemorrhage or VH, NVE with pre-retinal or vitreous hemorrhage, uveitis of iris or angle, signs of extensive retinal ischemia, severe PDR in other eye approaching high-risk PDR, pregnancy or post-renal transplantation PDR, and non-compliant patient with very severe MPDR. These are some pictures showing NVD more than 1/3 disc area, NVD plus hemorrhage plus NVE more than 1/2 disc area. What we have to discuss with the patient are the basically numerous follow-up visit required. He may need supplementary laser treatment. Definitely, PRP reduces the risk of vision loss and blindness in the long term, but there may be risk of vitreous hemorrhage during PRP procedure, and which may require supplement laser therapy later on. The side effects include usually it's reduced peripheral and night vision, and also the contrast sensitivity. And this side effect we have to discuss with the patient prior to the start the PRP. The lenses are the 3-mirror Goldman contact lens, which have a disadvantage of small field of vision, which require continuous manipulation of the lens to complete the treatment. And the wide angle contact lens, they have advantage of we need minimum orientation and the laser can be completed in a single sitting. The laser spot size has to be adjusted according to the different lenses required. The most common wavelength are the argon green, blue green, and 530. In an AG media, krypton red or diode red laser may be used. These are the setting of 200 to 500 micrometer power, 200 to 250, and one weight apart. A goal. Basically, the power is gradually increased. A total of more than 2,000 burns are required in 3 sittings. Macular area has to be avoided, and also detection elevation of the retina. The burns are placed 2 to 3 disc diameter away from the center of the macula and 1 disc diameter away from the disc. Laser treatment should avoid major artery veins, pre-retinal hemorrhage, choroidal scars, and absolutely not within the 500 microns of the fovea to avoid the risk of hemorrhage or large scotoma post-laser. These are a picture of limited PRP, and in the right picture, a more extensive treatment. This is pre-treatment, and after 3 months, when the new vessels have decreased, there is residual fibrosis. These are the basic complications. Mainly in transient, we have macular edema, which usually subside after a few months. And the late are the night blindness, reduced contrast, reduced visual fields, PVD induction, and inadvertent focal burns can cause permanent visual field defects. In a targeting, we can laser only the specific non-oscularized area. And then for the CME, we use the focal laser, which remove the unhealthy RP cells and more RP cells, which absorb more fluid from the macular edema. This is a mechanism, parameters, and the lens is used. Complications of the local laser are the paracentral scotoma, and CNVM is a non-complication. Then the modified grid also. And the last is the Pascal. We use these are the Pascal picture. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jitendra, for this very nice presentation.
Actually, I have some less time, so I would just went very speedily through this.
It's fine. Do you, Dr. Chekitan? Dr. Chekitan, please. Can you hear? So what about this sub-threshold lasers? Dr. Chekitan, Dr. Khanduja, what is your experience regarding this? Are you using those?
No, ma'am. I don't have access to this.
Okay, what is the consensus regarding using these, as they are coming like in Western world? They say it's very popular. People are using these sub-threshold lasers. So what is your view regarding this?
Maybe,
in India, is it?
Yeah. But I don't have an access. But with the advent of anti-VEGF and steroids,
they remain the mainstay.
Yeah, except for focal laser, I'm not. I've actually stopped doing macular laser grid photocoagulation. So
absolutely not.
Except for focal leaks.
But if there is a plaque of fibrosis there and your anti-VEGFs are not working,
fibrosis, any intervention actually doesn't help a lot, except for
But if there's a close by focal leak is there, then?
Beg your pardon?
If there's a close focal leak is there, just close to that plaque. So then you need to do sometimes,
500 microns, you can go actually into this thing area. Up till 500 microns, you can laser, provided you're careful that
but what about your PDR, peripheral neovascularizations? Then you need to do lasers.
Peripheral yes. Ma'am, just
you cannot.
No. I think you've not understood me. I said I'm not doing macular lasers.
That is better. Yeah, anti-VEGFs can be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we need to do lasers. PRP, if there is an NV.